Hello and welcome back to another reaction. In this occasion, Marimashita, Iruma-kun, or welcome to your demon school, Iruma. Yes, last time we got to see the first episode of the second season, and is how the developing of the glutton ring is coming. That now he's a sentient being, and Iruma tried to discover how that started and why and how is this going to affect him. Unfortunately, Amelie discovers something that he didn't want to. That Iruma didn't want to, and I guess yeah, sure. Amelie didn't want to discover that either. Then apparently, and in the eyes of Amelie, Iruma enjoys dressing as a girl. Which is not the case. He was kind of forced to help his friends. He is not very happy because, understandably, he doesn't like that. And fortunately, this is a whole lot of confusion. And that is the funny part. That is the exciting part. And obviously, I know if you haven't seen the series, you want to know what the hell is going on. So, without further ado, other than remind you quickly that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription and turn notification. Please leave a comment and leave a like so I know that you enjoy the video, and let me know what you like about the video and what you dislike about the entirety of the video. And remember that in the description there is a link for my Twitter. If you want to follow me, the link is there. A link for the reaction because YouTube doesn't like reactions, and obviously a link to my Patreon in case you want to see the full uncut reaction of this episode and many more. Anyway, yes, enough about all of this. Let's cut the presentation short and watch the episode, shall we? Okay, I'm back. I just watched a second time the second episode of the second season of Marimashita Iruma-kun. Yes, the first major arc of this second season has just started, and in this case is what is happening to Amelie. I know exactly what is going on, but obviously from what you can see of this episode, she is embarrassed of being seen in that outfit. Which is something that never happened before, at least not for Amelie, for somebody else perhaps, but this is a different case. So it has to do with something like that. That is the only thing that I'm going to say, because again, this is not taking me by surprise. I already read the manga, and probably you're tired of me saying that yes, we know you read the manga, shut the fuck up and talk about the episode. Which is something I'm going to do, but I want to clarify that in case somebody out there say, oh okay, he's cheating, he's watching the anime. No, I'm not. Actually, what I'm doing is just simply reading the freaking manga. So yes, that's the case that I want to say. Anyway, moving on to this episode. This episode is basically how Amelie was dealing with Iruma's tendency of finding himself into women's clothing. Obviously not because he wanted, but because, well, different circumstances. In the first season, which is obviously the poster that we see in the last episode with Amelie, is because he's making a favor to the evil doll of the class, the girl with the gray hair. It's a favor because thanks to him, thanks to the actions that Iruma did back then, she was kind of fainting and she couldn't act and all that stuff, so that is why Iruma wanted to help, because somebody needed help, not because he wanted to put on those girly clothes. Iruma doesn't enjoy that, he does it because he wants to help somebody else. That is why this is going on, that is why Iruma is doing what he's doing. The second time is because Ali just tried to force him into thinking into that something that he will never wear, and obviously that means the girly clothes that Amelie watched in that empty classroom. The third time is again thanks to the white-haired girl of the class that she wanted to see those clothes because she needed something else. So all the time that, unfortunately for Iruma and kind of unfortunately for Amelie, that Iruma has been wearing those clothes is because an outside force or an outside reason, not because Iruma wanted to dress like that. That is something I have the need to clarify, especially in future episodes. Something kind of similar is going to happen, which is going to take a freaking while. I don't know when this is going to be over. I don't know when, up until what moment the second season is going to cover. I don't know. But yeah, this is going to take a while for us to reach that point. Perhaps if there is a third or maybe a fourth season, which finger crossed, I really want to see this. So yes, it's something that I wanted to see. It's something. There are things that are going to happen in the future, so I'm going to shut up about it. Let's concentrate on this episode, because yes, I need to say that to myself, because otherwise I'm going to be speaking, oh yes, and this happened in episode 100 and something, and this happened in episode... No, that is not something I want to do, because I don't want to ruin anybody's surprise, just in case you are watching this for the first time and you haven't read the manga. You are only exclusively going with the anime. Moving on. Of course, we have the case of another misconception in case of Amelie. She's taking precautions and he's kind of training Iruma. I guess the battler, it's something of an excuse to say, okay, yes, we need to disband your battler because you don't have the requirements of, well, you know, having that or being part of a sorry, I'm adjusting my light, of having a battler or being of that battler to exist. And obviously she sends us to the magical something battler, and Clara to the games battler. So yes, they are in different battlers. Iruma has the point of being part of the student council, and as we know, and as I mentioned during my reaction, we know that they are at the top of the pyramid of the scale of power in every single part of the anime. You know, we have the peasants, us, then we have the military, then we have the politicians, religions, all of that, the government, and at the top of everything, at the very top of everything of that pyramid is obviously the student council of any high school. And on top of everybody is the president council, which is obviously Amelie. She's at the top of everything, so she can decide whatever she wants. That's the rules. I don't make them, I just follow them. Anyway, as I was saying, yes, that is the case. Iruma has to learn something, has to discipline himself. I don't know, and this is my guess, again, this is not very clarified in the manga, is because Amelie wants us to see just how Iruma behaves, or he wants to discipline Iruma for all she has seen, especially with the misconception of Iruma attacking the other female student, because she didn't know it was an accident. Yeah, terrible coincidence, yeah, sure, but yeah, that is what is going on. So, Amelie wants us to give that opportunity to Iruma, because not a lot of people are accepted in this student council, and Iruma was offered that seat. So, yeah, this speaks highly of him. And obviously, the rest of the school is in awe and everything. And we have our Thursday girl that she cannot contain herself because, come on, is Iruma in the council uniform, student council uniform, and Amelie together. So, yeah, this is like a fantasy for her. Understandable completely. And then we have the situation in which obviously the majority of the episode and the majority of the comedy comes from the fact that Iruma has to train. And we see that Iruma doesn't understand what is so important about the student council until Amelie showed him that they need to keep control of these demons, because demons have this wicked phase in which they become dangerous even for other demons, for weaker demons. And the student council, they need to be prepared for that. And that is when Iruma realized, okay, yeah, this is cool, and I need to make the biggest effort in my life so I can really fulfill my role as part of this student council. So yeah, and that is what he do. He changed his attitude and he improves a lot from one day to another. So yeah, the training is going well. And when you're reading the manga, say, oh, okay, that was the point. I think it was a little bit rushed, but that was the point of all of this. And we are wrong when we're reading the manga. And if you thought that about this episode, I'm sorry, but you were wrong too. The point of all of this is something else, to make it contact with Amelie. And Amelie is starting to be understanding of her own feelings. She still not completely understand those, but she is starting to. And this is something that we will be developing in the few next episodes. But obviously, we need to take a different perspective on this one. And in this case, is what is going to happen with Amelie. The case in here is just a presentation. It's just to say in the beginning of all of this. And yes, Iruma needed this. Iruma needed this discipline because he needs to move forward. And part of his ambition, yeah, he needs discipline for what he wants to do. To become a higher ranking in the demon world, him being a human. And this is absolutely necessary for him. And this is obviously the start of our arc, which I am not going to say that much because again, I do have too much information for this arc. I know what is going to happen. And I don't want to spoil anything for you guys, even if it's just an accidental one that I didn't notice while I was speaking and that I didn't notice while I was editing, so that is why I'm not going to say much about it. I am going to just tackle the topics that I see in each episode. And there are little sections here that I'm going to call little details that I noticed later on. During the presentation, when they are presenting all of the students of the abnormal class, we see all of them. And I really mean all of them. For those who know what I'm speaking about, just pay attention to the evil doll presentation and you're going to see what I mean. For those who don't, you can check it out, and probably he's going to be presented in this season, hopefully, because that will mean, oh no, well, I don't know, I don't think so, because okay, there are so many things that comes to that moment. But yeah, I guess I think I know what they are doing with this one, and yeah, I'm not going to specify that because again, spoilers, guys. But yes, I love the fact that they are putting that small detail. Again, for those who notice and for those who have read the manga, you know what I'm talking about. And yeah, you start to notice that thing really in the future. But anyway, yes, I think I exhausted the topic of this one. I hope you enjoy it, and sorry if I'm shut my mouth several times because really I was about to say something that you should know. Yeah, you should know if you haven't read the manga. So anyway, yes, I think that's it. Let me just quickly remind you that if you enjoy the content of the channel, please consider a subscription and turn on notifications. And if you enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. Remember that in the description, the link for my Twitter is down there, alongside with the reaction, because we know YouTube doesn't like reaction, and obviously the link for my Patreon in case you want to see the full uncut reaction of this episode and many more. Anyway, as I said before, I have nothing else to say, but thank you for your attention, and well, see you on the next one. Bye!
Okay guys, I hope you enjoyed that video, and if you did, give it a like, so the algorithm from YouTube will help me out. And check my other videos, share them, and also why not subscribe to my channel and join this community. And as always, I want to thank you for your attention, your likes, and even your dislikes, your comments, which is something I always look forward to read. And yeah, once more, thanks and see you on the next one.